Welcome back to the Living Vividly podcast. Today, I'm your host, Daphne Olivier of the Unconventional Dietitians, and Jackie's unable to be with us today. Today's episode is extra special because we're recording with 5 Mile Eatery, a locally owned, female, pride-proud restaurant that truly lives out the values we talk about here. 5 Mile focuses on thoughtfully sourced, organic foods made without seed oils while actively supporting our local food system and the people behind it. They partner with a variety of local farms, creating food that's not only nourishing, but deeply connected to this community. I'm thrilled to be joined by Kelsey and Sarah Trotter, who have brought this vision to life. Thanks for being here, y'all. It's a pleasure.
Happy to be here.
How long has 5 Mile been open? It's like our newer, it's not new really, it's been a few years.
We feel so new. We turned 3 in April.
And so how did 5 Mile, what is the story behind getting it started?
We actually moved to Arnoldville for a little while, and the amount of farms that were in the area were helpful for our startup that we wanted to start at Nunu's Art Collective. We were going to start a little cafe there, and it was going to be everything that we served was within a 5 mile radius. So they had
that's where 5 Mile
That's the name.
came
That's where
from.
5 mile radius.
So yeah, we couldn't translate that fully in Lafayette, but we still do want that to be a core value of ours.
So we like to say our radius has expanded, but our mission remains the same: to support our local economy while serving really good food and beverages.
So what does locally sourced mean? If we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty, what does it mean to be locally sourced?
Well, I know my journey took off going to farmers markets, and you find small hometown farmers there, whether it's like a honey farmer, chicken, goat milk, sugarcane. And from there, I think you can really build your portfolio of people you have connections with that you could get their product into your restaurant.
Yeah, so all of our honey that we use on the coffee bar and in the kitchen as well is locally sourced. That's raw organic honey from Gaydon. Right, honey. We love them. Hey, Timmy. Timmy makes our deliveries. She's really sweet. What else? Our eggs are always from Louisiana, pasture-raised.
Nice.
The milk we use on our barista bar is from Feliciana's Best Dairy. So all of
Slaughter,
our
Louisiana.
milk is local. Yes.
Yep.
I've checked out their farm before.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They're great.
I want to go there.
It's the best milk. It's the best milk I've ever had.
Yeah,
I love
they sell a lot out of the Red Stick Farmers Market.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
In Baton Rouge. Anyway.
That's a great farmers market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that stuff really, at the same time as we get to support local, we get to stand out and be niche in our own restaurant world where it's hey, we serve only local dairy here, which is really, really neat and tasty.
And we used to use local goat milk as well, but that farmer just recently closed their farm, which is unfortunately a story we hear all too often, especially in Louisiana.
Yeah. So what are some of the stories that you hear? So to give you a little bit of backstory, for me, I'm not a grower. I always kind of introduce myself as a farm girl wannabe. The
Love
idea
that.
of having a farm sounds really good.
Oh, yeah.
But I've had chickens and I've milked cows before, and it's
There
not
you go.
really my style. I just want to.
That's hard work, girl.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
It's
not for everybody.
What are some of the challenges that y'all know from some of the farmers that you work with? Farming is not an easy thing to do. It's whether you're farming vegetables and, trying to grow produce, or you have animals. What are some of the things that you're hearing that make it challenging in this area?
Well, I'll say that the industrialization of the food world has made it really hard for small local farms that are really delivering nutrient-dense foods to survive, where they're not getting enough capital or support while they're farming. Farming is not easy, especially if you're doing it with as small of a footprint as you can, where you're not using too many heavy machines, so you're keeping all of that nutrient-dense soil together. Because I've definitely farmed with the GoTro farm, and they were farming years ago, and it's not easy. I was in tears some seasons in winter, picking onions, and it's 20 degrees and it's raining, and those farmers are still out there doing that job, and it's a really important job. And I feel like as many farms that are dropping today, we really need a resurgence of local farms and to support them to do what they do.
It all comes down to money and return on their investment, their blood, sweat, and tears. They're not getting it back financially. So it's unsustainable, truly unsustainable for a lot of small growers, because a lot of people are just overworked, and they go to the grocery store. They go to the grocery store, get what they can afford. What's the cheapest? What's the easiest thing for me to get? For me and my family. Hey, we all get it. And they're not going to the farmer's market. Another part of that is, well, the grocery stores are not buying locally. Right. They're buying from what's coming on the truck from wherever. That's their distributor. That's how they stock their stores, just because that's the way that it's done now.
That's not a local thing. That's like an American thing,
yes.
right? I mean, are there places in the United States where the communities that y'all know of are getting their foods from the local growers? I know in other countries they do that, but do they do that much here in the United States?
I know of a couple, and I've forgotten the names, but I do know of a couple local grocery stores that are set up like a typical Albertsons or something, a little bit smaller, but they do get local, but one's in Colorado, one's in South Carolina. So I know they got startup capital somewhere and they have enough farms in the area to do that.
It's all about people that have passion for local food systems and money. And usually you have one or the other in this country, typically, as a whole.
But also, yeah, it's like what can grow here, who's growing it, and are the stores willing to create an operations department for getting that into their store, because it's not as straightforward as getting it off the truck and getting it on their shelves. They have to create a whole new relationship with the area.
Well, and also you are in that model, you're not able to have everything all the time. Strawberries aren't always available. Carrots aren't always available, but that's kind of how as consumers, that's the expectation, is that if I want carrots, I should be able to go to the store and get carrots, even if it's the summer.
Regardless of what time of year it is, yeah.
So that is a big part of it too. But even for local growers here, our climate is just very, again, not being a farmer, but trying to grow some freaking bell peppers. Like just in my backyard, the climate is so unpredictable.
Wrong.
Just, yeah, not a great climate to grow all the things that we would want to grow.
Right. I guess that's why you see more of these local stores, even in California. California is growing a lot of food for the country because their climate is built for that. And, they've built the systems for that.
I did hear about, we're feeling a little doomy and gloomy, right? Okay. I did hear about this cooperatively owned store in New Orleans that was opening. Do you know what I'm talking about? That they operated as a vessel for farmers to come and sell their stuff on consignment.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of a couple of places like that. I know, like Gonsolin Farms, whenever we interviewed him, he said that he has like a little consignment store. It's small. It's to supplement what he's growing with his beef. But I feel like I've heard that along the years, the decades of that type of cooperative wanting to happen. And there's always some kind of logistical thing that makes it just more challenging than just...
Yes, it's hard. Yeah. But some people are doing the work to try to make more spaces for local growers to sell whatever they have regardless of the season, instead of a grocery store being like, well, maybe I can carry arugula, and will you have it all year? Because it's going to be confusing if you don't. And are you going to deliver? Oh, are you going to charge us? Ooh, don't love that.
Yeah.
Right? And I would like to see another space like that in Lafayette. I have a lot of dreams. Okay, I don't have a lot of time or money, but our mission includes supporting local growers as much as possible at 5 Mile Eatery. We try to do it as much as we can, and I wish we could do more. I wish I had more time. I wish I had more space. Wish I had more money.
Tell me what you're dreaming about. Like, what is a big dream?
Oh,
If you could pin down one dream and all resources could go to that dream, what would it be?
Oh, that's hard. Well, I have a lot of dreams. We're just talking about growers, local growers specifically, and supporting them more. Well, I'd like to have one of those cooperatively, a co-op for local growers to sell their stuff. I love that idea of just setting up a space. Here are some fridges, here are some shelves. I think the one that I heard about in New Orleans was they were renting out the shelf spaces. So pay me this little bit of rent. You come in here, you sell whatever you want to, but we would still have to provide the systems. So I would need to set up like a POS. I would need to have someone working the desk, but that comes out of that's included in what they're paying for rent, basically. I love that idea. I'm just it would take a lot of time to set that up, obviously, but that's a dream.
Our dream as a blanket dream is to give back more and to give our time. So we actually just attended a business class in Chicago. We got back this past weekend. And we're learning how to structure our business better and have better communication, better boundaries, better systems so that we can move forward and continue to like go with Habitat for Humanity and build houses or like do food drives or create the store that Sarah wants to create. Because I know I'm definitely driven in that way of I want to have more free time to support or even more money or funds to help other startups. Because I know how hard it was for us to get started. You know, there were a lot of no's in the beginning. There's still a lot of no's. There's still a lot of no's. But we've navigated that, and we want to give that knowledge to others, especially young people that want to do good work with food.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, like you're learning how to run a business better, because I've had my private practice for 16 years in January it was, which is like bizarro. But if I would have known what I didn't know going into it, there's no way I would have started. And still at this point, you know, more than 15 years later, I'm still like fine tuning how to run an actual business. And so it's one thing to have a passion and a dream and want to do something, but then to translate that into the logistics of actually making it happen and making it efficient. Those are two like totally different parts of the brain that have to be working at the same time. And that's a big struggle with this population of people that have the passion to grow something, but maybe don't have all of the logistical information and logistical ways of how to translate that into an actual thriving business.
I think that's why we're such a good team. I would, if I had to say, if there's one visionary and one logistical person, I would say she's the visionary and I'm the logistical person. But we do, obviously, we're all, dynamic beings. So we are a bit of both, but as all people are. But I think that's why we were able to open and keep this place open. You got to have a bit of both. You got to have some yin and yang.
I mean, it's definitely about holding yourself accountable in ways that you never have before and taking a good look at your personal life as well. And is that aligning with the work I need to get done in my professional life? Because if I'm not taking care of myself and setting the same deadlines for myself in my personal life, I can't go to work and show up the way I need to show up. Because over time, as we've been in this business class or just these past 3 years running 5 Mile, realizing the ways we were on autopilot and cleaning that up. And sometimes you're hearing, you know, some feedback you don't necessarily want to hear from someone on your team or your partner, but to be able for them to give you that with love and to receive it with love and put that into action is a blessing. So I think that really is helpful.
Yeah. So y'all are going on 3 years. What are some of the best things that have come out of 5 Mile that you would have never seen coming? Like you could have never predicted?
Well, community support, really, especially since we're, you know, Sarah's my partner and us being queer.
In the South. You never know.
Being gay in the South. Right. Yeah. We weren't sure. It wasn't ever a thought we really had, but it was, you know, we're in the South. The political climate is weird sometimes, but we know we have the love and support of our family and friends and the industry, and we just hoped that people would see that in the good food we're bringing to Lafayette. And I
was going to say, the thing, if nothing else, whenever you put good food in front of someone, I mean, especially here,
they're probably going to want to come back.
They're going to want to come back.
They don't care about anything else.
That's true.
So oddly enough, yesterday I was talking to one of my patients, and I don't remember how it came up. We were talking about how often they dine out, that sort of thing. And they're like, yeah, we go to 5 Mile Eatery all the time. Yay. They're probably sick of seeing us over there. And I'm like, I'm 100% sure
Definitely
they're not sick of seeing you there.
I love the amount of regulars we have. Mm-hmm. I had no clue that was even possible. I've never seen that in a business before. I've been a bartender, been a barista before. I've been in the industry for, 7-8 years in different cities and different businesses. And the community we have here in Lafayette is just, it has blown me away. I had no clue that was going to happen. We had no clue what was going to happen whenever we opened our doors. I mean, it was us. We had 2 employees and then a bunch of family members. We had no idea. And people showed up on day 1 and day 2 and day 3. We're like, oh my God, they're still coming in. People come every day. It's amazing. It's a good feeling to be contributing something to the local food scene that people are receiving very well.
And it's such a niche. I mean, there's not much.
No.
Lafayette has
we have no fried food, no alcohol.
Right.
Unheard of.
Let's talk about that.
No fried food, no alcohol.
Okay. Let's talk about the alcohol part.
Sure.
Because I think it's probably a little bit of a smaller conversation.
Sure.
Versus opening Pandora's box of seed oils, which we will get to.
All kinds of stuff to
So
talk
tell
about.
us what made y'all decide to do the sober movement and not serve alcohol at all in the establishment.
Well, we've been on personal journeys with alcohol before we opened 5 Mile. I think it's just so common here for it to be consumed daily, weekly, mindlessly. And I realized I didn't like the way it made me feel in my body. I hated being hungover. It just wasn't worth it for me. So I stopped drinking years ago now. And it had such a positive impact on my life and the work I was doing and my happiness level. I mean, my brain is literally healthier now. We realized there weren't very many places in Lafayette that did not serve alcohol because it's the default. We realized, well, we don't need to serve alcohol, do we? We kind of looked at each other. We were like, oh, yeah. Whenever we were first drafting the business plan, it was just like, oh, well, we're going to have wine or beer, but we were rethinking that the closer we got to opening, and we were like, man, like we don't need to serve alcohol. And I think it's actually more aligned with our mission to not serve alcohol, just to offer an alternative.
I mean, alcohol is poison. And
it's
a lot of people
toxin.
aren't ready for that conversation. They're still hanging on to like, we'll have one glass of wine a week. And I'm
There's
like,
antioxidants in the wine. It's like,
Yeah.
well.
I don't hate you for that. And you can do what you want.
Yeah.
But
Whatever.
now that I know what it feels like to not have that in my life, and it just gives you more energy and more power and more clarity. And I'm sure there's other things like I eat a lot of sugar, alcohol, sugar, I don't know, but for us alcohol was something we definitely wanted to cut out.
I'm definitely not judging anyone who drinks. Lots of our friends and family drink
Sure.
alcohol. Whatever you do, your body, your choice. But we wanted to provide a space where it wasn't the default, and that's all.
That's one of my biggest challenges too. And to be fair, I do drink,
Cool.
occasionally.
Yeah.
But part of the challenge is that it's kind of the expectation.
Mhm.
There's nothing
Right.
nowhere that you go where there's not, a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it's like built in.
There's like Wine Down Wednesday. There's just
Yeah.
all the things that you every day is associated with something that you could be indulging in. So the fact that y'all decided to go the sober movement, I think, is impressive, and that y'all are thriving. I mean, it wasn't a barrier. It wasn't something that is keeping you from being able to still move forward with your restaurant. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's talk about seed oils.
So how I would like to start this conversation is that we do not use any ultra-processed ingredients. Okay. That's why we don't cook with seed oils. It's ultra-processed. It's not natural. You have to chemically process. I mean, that's what ultra-processing is. Use
Right.
chemicals to process something that is not naturally found. So that's why we
So it has
cook.
nothing to do with the seed oil debate of 2026.
I'm like,
It's just
I
the
mean-
ultra processed thing.
it's ultra-processed. Canola oil is ultra-processed, and that's why
Yeah,
I don't cook with it.
that is the easiest way to.
That's how I would sum up the conversation. Where other kitchens would use seed oils, fryers, we don't have fryers. On the grill, we use organic coconut oil to cook on our grill.
What about allergies?
If someone has a coconut allergy or any other allergy, we're like, what do we say? We call it picky proof. That's like one of our pillars. We're picky proof.
I like that.
We're allergy proof. We've got systems in place. Kelsey is the head of the kitchen, the executive chef. We train all of our chefs to be able to accommodate any allergy. So if someone says, yo, I have a coconut allergy, it's severe, we get a fresh pan, fresh gloves, fresh cutting board, fresh knife, if we need to chop whatever it is we're
Right.
preparing. Separate pan, we have extra virgin olive oil that we
Or
get from
butter.
a local vendor. Or yeah, we have butter. We'll ask the person, what would you prefer? We got options, babe, but separate pan, separate gloves, separate space. We're allergy proofed. Like that's built into the way that we train our chefs because that's so important to us. If you're allergic to gluten, allergic to dairy, like that's very common. And people with severe allergies deserve a safe space to eat. Like
Absolutely.
how rough for people to not know if they can trust restaurants.
Yeah.
So we try to be as transparent as possible. You can see into our kitchen if you've been to 5 Mile. You can literally see
Right.
the line, the prep space, and the dishwashing. You can see exactly what we're doing, so you know that we're living up to what we're saying we're doing.
Right.
You can see it happening.
And I will say we are getting better at that. And we do want to offer more gluten-free and vegan as we go along. We're still kind of a new business in a small space. So if anybody's listening that's like, well, they're not doing this.
You can see how small our kitchen is
We're
if
trying.
you come. Not a lot of space.
I also, this day and age, appreciate how many people are waking up to the food industry and wanting more transparency. So my thing is always like, it's not like us gatekeeping how to do it. It's I want more restaurants to want to do this. And so I always say, if you're out to eat, like ask more questions, like demand more, because that's the only way the industry is going to change. So
That's good. It feels safe because anytime I'm at a restaurant, I'm like, are there any nuts in this? Are there?
Right. And the servers may or may not know because they haven't been trained. They haven't been given the tools to answer
Right. So
specific
they get
allergy
frustrated.
questions.
As a server for a long time in college. I mean, I was quite literally serving very unhealthy food while I was also studying nutrition at night. So that, I've battled that. I've dealt with that. But as a server, as a college student, I didn't, at that time, and we're talking quite a while ago, there was no conversation about gluten, but there were allergies and people still had allergies.
Yeah.
And we were just like, I don't think
We
so.
don't know.
I mean, we could go ask the person on the line and, if it's a Saturday night, nobody's going to check ingredient labels at that time.
Yeah.
So it was just, you don't fully know unless it's a small place where everybody knows what's happening in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Because,
We have a chef that works with us, Anna. She's vegan and she's learned so much about food. So she's taught me to ask, is the cheese actually vegan or is it vegetarian? Or do they use like beef casein or something in there that's not vegetable enzymes? So, if you're not working closely with those people and wanting to know more and teaching yourself, of course, you're going to get an eye roll maybe at a restaurant, but that's not your fault. So I think keep doing it and, don't get discouraged because I think we need to up the par here,
Well, and I think we're potentially, and maybe this is just my hopeful thought, but potentially people are becoming more like we're in a snowball that's just starting to roll, that it's going to get faster and people are going to become much more aware. Whether they care or not is a different story, but much more aware of what is actually in the foods that they're eating.
Yeah. And I say find those spaces that the people are excited about it because they're at the same time, I see a lot of pushback of like, oh, well, why do we need to do that? So just find those circles that are supportive of that journey.
And another thing, a lot of people don't realize the industry has evolved so much over the last, 30, 40 years, because it used to be you open a restaurant because you love food and you're good at it and you know how to turn it into a profitable business. It's so different nowadays because it's turned into an investment for investors. They want to see a return on their investment. So, and anyone can open a restaurant if you have a little bit of money and know-how, because you can order everything from Sysco. The soup can come in a bag. The chicken comes in a bag. Everything comes in a bag from Sysco. So I think it's so important for people to be aware of that and know, am I paying for chicken in a bag from Sysco, or am I paying for a chef that is preparing this with intention?
Nutrition.
It's not as healthy. I mean, that's a tricky word, and I don't want to be flamed online. You do what you need to do for your own body. I think it's important for people to know what is in their food and what are they paying for at restaurants. I think that's important to know.
At every point that so a chicken that comes from Sysco obviously was actually a chicken at some point. And then it gets transitioned and morphed at every stop along the way. And so at every point of that, there's the potential loss of nutrients. So in my mind, with proteins and meats is probably not quite as much as it is with vegetables because of the delay. And if we take a chicken and freeze it immediately, then it doesn't have as much nutrient loss as if we take, the carrots that come from California and they, are on a truck for a couple of weeks. There's nutrient loss in that whole time frame. But the processing and the things that get added to it to keep it looking fresh certainly can change the nutritional value of food that's just more processed and coming from big farms versus a smaller locally grown or regionally grown farm.
I can't really speak to like freezing stuff, changing the nutrient density. I don't know anything about that, but I do know about the health of the chicken before it is slaughtered impacts the nutrients. So is it stressed all the time? Is it in a high stress environment? Does it have a lot of cortisol flowing through its veins? Was it being fed? Did it ever pooping all over itself and it can't go anywhere?
I can guarantee you the chickens that we got while I was working at a place were injected with something, because these were like dinosaur-sized chickens, and it was the scariest thing
Growth
ever.
hormones and whatever, steroids.
So there's no
we got no clue.
telling.
Yeah, there's not a lot of transparency there, but people are finding out about it and asking more questions now, which I think is super important. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
So
I wish everyone had time and knowledge to have a garden at home, because there are a lot of people that haven't even tasted a carrot right out of the ground.
it's so good.
And I feel
it's so
like
much better.
if
when
you
the
just
soil
knew
is
that-
healthy, it makes the food taste.
Y'all, there are a lot of people that have never tasted a carrot, period.
Right. Right.
I mean, and I'm being very honest.
Well, yeah, like the food that we're serving in our public schools is abysmal. It's crazy. It comes out of a bag.
I started following
time.
actually a lunch lady on Facebook Reels, and the school systems. I didn't realize I really don't know anything about that world, but I wanted to know more. I mean, in like you get a casserole dish and you cook like your casserole in there. They line every single dish they cook the kids' food in a plastic liner, so that they don't have to wash the dish. So they're just you're eating plastic.
Ooh,
really, but
that's tough.
Anyway, kind of off subject, but
The plastic thing, it freaks me out so bad. I can't think about it, or it scares me, because a lot of it we can't control. And that's scary. So I try to focus on what I can control. And even then, you got to give yourself grace. Like sometimes I want the chip, okay, that's made with sunflower oil. And I'm like, you know what? I don't give a care right now, because I need this cheesy cracker or whatever it may be. But 5 Mile is like an oasis for us. That's how we wanted to set it up. We wanted it to be an oasis for people with severe allergies, for people who care about nutrient density of the chicken and the radishes and what is grown locally, right? We don't always live up to that personally, honestly, because we're human. And I think that's important to talk about too.
There's a whole eating disorder diagnosis for people who are trying to perfect their eating.
Right.
So that I don't think is ever really the goal.
We never want to
just
push that.
Yeah,
'cause
we don't
I'm not
wanna-
like that.
Nothing has to be perfect. We just want to make it mostly good.
Right.
And that's my philosophy, because trust me, if you put some corn chips in front of me, I'm not going to ask what they were fried in.
Right?
It's just
Same.
not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
yes.
Well,
So
just knowing is half the battle.
Right.
Like the knowledge
Yeah.
of something gets you
Right.
halfway there
Exactly.
anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Knowledge is power, but you
Yeah.
can do with it what you will.
It gives you the power
Indulge
to make
in what you
choices.
want.
Yeah, it gives you the power to make
Yeah.
choices. So tell us about some of the farms that y'all work with. It's like your local farms, but you mentioned the honey farm.
Yep.
I know y'all work with the mushroom growers here, All Caps Mushrooms.
Yes,
Sometimes.
when we can.
Yeah.
We need to get back into it. I actually bought her soup mix at Drug Emporium, All Caps Mushroom Soup Mix. Really good. We used it also for a vegan cheese sauce to thicken the vegan cheese sauce.
Oh,
super
tell me
good.
more.
Very good.
That was-
I
So
have some in my pantry right now.
okay.
Hey.
So we actually got home. We wanted mac and cheese, but we only had noodles. But we had nut milk and we had that soup mix and cashews. So I know that can create a really good vegan cheese sauce. So
Love
I
a cashew.
hot soaked the cashews, put some of the cashew water in the blender, a lot of nutritional yeast, and then I added the All Caps mushroom soup mix to thicken it and add the mushroom flavor.
Yeah.
And
That
so
umami, it perfected that
Goals.
sauce. That was
I'm having
good.
that tonight.
It was real good.
gotta try it.
I'm gonna make it.
I was
The
gonna
cashews really
email
make it
Daisy
as
about
well.
that actually. It was really good.
Yeah, we need to tell her.
Yeah.
Like, put this recipe on the bag, girl. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just partnered with Gidgee Organic Farms for all of our beef and eggs.
I didn't realize
that
they
was-
did beef.
It's newer, and they're selling
Okay.
just to us, really,
Oh, okay.
because we're buying all their beef.
Nice.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We're buying all of it. It's grass-fed, pasture-raised, high quality. We've met the cows. We've pet the cows.
Nice.
Very cute.
Very delicious.
Great people running the farm as well.
So they're
love
the,
them.
the pecan farmers too, right?
Yes.
They don't farm the pecans,
But they got the
do
pecan
process
products.
the pecans. Yeah, so pecan oil
Okay.
and pecan butter. But they do grow the cows and the chickens.
So you're getting all of your beef from them.
Right. So it's a more nutrient dense, higher quality beef, and it created this great local partnership. We were initially getting our beef from, which was also really high quality beef from Chicago, and it was shipped in. But, that definitely was not in alignment with our mission. And we were waiting for the right beef people here, and they were the right beef people. So it finally worked out to where they had the cows, we had the freezer, and we transitioned. And so
That is awesome. Are y'all using the organs at all?
They gave us some tallow to play with, and I'd love to use organs one day. We're definitely still trying to create the base restaurant so that we can do more creative projects like that.
Right.
How often do you change the menu or change items on the menu?
We have certain like staple things that are always going to be on there. The burger.
Mhm.
People love the burger. The breakfast sandwich.
We're really right now just trying to clean up our internal systems. So once those get cleaned up, we need to find our structure that works for us, and really stick to it. Over time, we've learned that, hey, maybe in 2 months we'll change this item. That's not going to work long term. So we need to really find a structure that works, and hopefully we can have more specials that showcase local ingredients, because that'll be easy. But we'll get there.
Okay. Do y'all have a strong opinion on seed oils?
Well, we're seed oil free.
But you said that's primarily because of the processing that goes in.
Yes.
Yeah. So
It just happens that that's also a hot topic these days.
Okay.
But we've always felt that
We
way.
were actually just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
About how a lot of our food ethos aligns with hot topics, like grass-fed beef and local milk and seed oil free. But
It's like, we've been here for a while.
right. So, but we just do it because of the nutrition, which is hopefully why most people are doing it.
Yeah.
right.
What do you think about seed oils?
But if there's other questions
What's your
about
spiel?
it, we would love to.
Well, we were actually talking about this before because I was trying to figure, because I've seen both sides of it. Like, you can't eat enough of it for it to really impact you, but also if that's all you eat, maybe?
I mean,
don't
coming
know.
from the
Yeah.
food industry was my strong point of like, people don't realize if they go to IHOP or maybe even a local nice restaurant, there are oils. There's this one called Whirl, and it's an oil substitute or a butter substitute. It is just chemicals and food coloring.
Ugh.
So coming from that and knowing you're going to eat a steak, a fine fillet, and it's, touted as this fine fillet, but it's covered in chemical Whirl. I mean, that to me is just game over. So
That's gross.
that's
So common.
that to me is why we're like seed oil free, because I want you to know if we're touting this fine beef, it's getting cooked in its own fat, and that is it. There's nothing else going in there.
See, I like that explanation. I like knowing that there's a healthier, or the healthiest option is these choices. It's just, why do it any other way?
Right.
It might be
Yeah.
cheaper or whatever,
yeah.
but
I mean, that's why usually.
Yeah. So for
Money.
me
Money,
personally, so I have my personal opinion and my professional opinion. Professionally, I'll say that I work with such a wide variety of people that sometimes I'm not going to, I'm just getting them to hey, let's try a carrot. Let's try some kind of vegetable, or let's make sure you're having some kind of fruit that you like, or, something that's a real food. With that type of person, I can't, we can't even talk about seed oils. That's so far down the line on something that would be important for that person. For me personally, I mean, I don't use seed oils at all. Like you said, I will still eat something, corn chips.
We're going to eat the chip.
That have a seed oil
gonna
in
eat the
them.
chip.
But I mean, my household is pretty, I mean, I'm saying this, I do have a 17-year-old that I've kind of turned a blind eye to some of the things that he's eating.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he can and should be doing, but chooses not to. And I choose my battles with that. But what we stock in our house is, fresh ingredients.
Great.
We don't, that's just kind of how I've done it for so long. So it's not that big of a deal. So, but I understand that I don't feel that it's something that I need to be preaching from the rooftops, because there are so many other things that I think are probably more important. And when we start getting into more real food and encouraging people to eat more real food, some of those seed oils just kind of fall by the wayside.
Right.
So
and
that's
as
kind
a
of my
restaurant,
approach.
I mean, there is no blueprint for an unrefined restaurant where you're using no seed oils, you're using unrefined sugar. So we're creating a blueprint as we're also just trying to be a sustainable business.
Trying to keep our doors open, trying to keep our
the
people
doors
paid.
open. Yeah. So it's once we create that blueprint and we're really confident about the product, I would love to scream it from the rooftops, right? So I always look for restaurants across the country, across the world that are doing what we're doing or something like it, so that I can have some takeaways to build that blueprint so that we can scale up or down or share it with other owners.
So is that one of your visions or one of your dreams, is to be able to, Not necessarily like franchise, because that feels like it goes totally against everything, but to be able to have a blueprint that you can help mold someone else and like let someone else model their business after the way that you've done it, because you've hit all the speed bumps and figured them out and kept rolling.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I would love to see more restaurants operating clean kitchens with transparent operations.
Some care.
Yeah.
What are some of the cost challenges that y'all face to be able to have quality ingredients? I mean, obviously, quality ingredients cost more.
It's a line that we're still walking. You know, whenever we first opened, we priced our items pretty low for the food costs that we were putting in versus the menu price.
So your margins weren't very high.
No. Negative margins. Some might even say. Because then some might say we were losing money in the beginning. But that's because we were working there every single day. We were preparing every ingredient. So the prep was free, right? Because we weren't paying ourselves. But that's obviously not sustainable. So as we've established ourselves, we're able to raise our prices a bit more. We're able to, like, now we have a baker who's fantastic. We love Katie. Thank you, Katie. Making all of our breads. We're almost fully transitioned to fully 100% house-made breads. We're still getting some breads from Straw Cove Bread. Fantastic. Fresh milled flour. Love their flour. We'll continue to use their flour. But we're trying to make more breads in-house so to, again, lower the food cost. So we're able to keep a little bit more of that money in-house.
I will say shout out to our employees, because a lot of them are going to be hitting on 3 years now. And it was a dream to have employees that cared in this mission and about the food and about 5 Mile and the ethos. And it's people that have been in the industry for 10 plus years, and we're all coming together and helping each other succeed here so that we can see this vision to life. So shout out to everyone.
How many employees do you have?
We've been incredibly lucky, really, at every stage of this. I don't know. Someone's looking out for us in the universe, I would say. That's how it feels anyway. Because
12 employees.
Yeah.
And a dishwasher that we love to death.
Easy. Love him.
That man. The dishwasher is, you need a dishwasher.
The most
and you need
important person in the kitchen is the dishwasher. Yeah.
I believe it.
It's easy. He keeps the kitchen running smoothly, literally.
But pricing, we also...
Oh, right, money.
Pricing...
Fun topic.
So, sometimes we'll price up a percentage or down on a certain item so that you can make up where we can't... We would need to charge $25 for our burger. We can't do that.
If we were like an investor trying to be like, oh, well, I need my money back, right? Well, you better charge more because of the cost of the ingredients that we're using. They would say, oh, well, you need to charge $25 for that burger because obviously that's how I'm going to get my money back. Like,
but the mission matters.
We're trying to make it as accessible as possible,
right?
While not literally losing money. Unfortunately, we are a business. We do need to have income just to keep our doors open, to keep our people fed, and paid, right? So it's interesting figuring that out as we go. We're still very much figuring that out as we go, especially with evolving food costs, insurance rate going up, sales tax, and all that. I mean,
food costs shot up this past year, and it was really...
The cost of everything. I mean, the cost of the biodegradable to-go boxes and all, people don't really think about that, but that's coming out of our pockets.
Every cent matters. If you're watching your books and you're watching costing, and I'm looking at the lettuce cost every week coming in, going up.
We check every invoice.
Cents, 10 cents, 50 cents. I mean, 5 cents turns into $1. So,
have y'all thought about, I'm sure y'all have y'all thought about growing y'all's own stuff? Anything?
One thing I tried to grow was sprouts, but
Failed.
I quickly found out I don't have time or knowledge or space.
Oh, no.
I was like, at least we could start with sprouts.
You would think. Yeah.
That is so dreamy. Like, yes, I would love.
Speaking of dreams.
I want a homestead. I'm right with you there. I want a homestead. I want chickens. I want goats. I love goats. They're so sassy. Like, they have so much personality. And I love goat milk, goat cheese, all that.
Funny story. One time, my sister decided that she wanted to get me a goat, I think, for Christmas.
Oh, wow. Where are you putting the goat?
Did you get it? Okay, keep going.
Listen to the story.
Where's the goat?
So my sister decided that we had chickens. We lived in Brobridge, and she wanted to get a goat. And so my mom, my sister. This is so ridiculous. My mom, my sister, and my brother-in-law found a goat farmer and went over there in my mom's little SUV. And the goat farmer quickly realized that no one knew what was happening with the goat and like how to care for a goat. And he would not sell them a goat. And then they came home and she told me about it. And I was like, that is the most ridiculous thing that you could ever give me. I do not want a goat. They're cute, but I don't want one in my backyard.
Yeah.
So I did not acquire a goat.
So maybe one time you said something about that goat's cute, and she was like, I'm getting that for Christmas.
Well, so ironically, another time when I was in college, we did have a goat. Totally random.
Wow.
And it was basically our lawnmower for our very tiny backyard. So that was very short-lived, and then it moved on. I don't remember what happened to it, but it was wild.
I'm sure it's has a good home. Had a good home.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wishing the best there for that goat.
I don't have anything else to do with goats. I don't know why those. I wish
I wish the story ended with you still had this goat
and Gerald is in the backyard
in your office or something.
Drank his milk this
morning.
morning.
The idea of like growing our own food to save on costs, great, but so much time and labor. And is it going to be available all season as much as we need? Like, we go through a lot of food. We serve a lot of people. Great. Love that. But that would mean it would be really hard for us to run a restaurant and also run a whole farm.
That's why I didn't know if y'all had like sprouts. If y'all were like, yep, we do all our sprouts in my backyard or something.
Yeah.
But tried.
Sprouts are trickier than you would think.
I understand
really
the thought of sprouts should be good.
Just grow them.
Yeah.
You can't. We tried. You got to have a lot more time to dedicate towards it that we just didn't have at that time.
Interesting.
So we ask this one last question to everyone before we let you go.
Okay.
What does living vividly mean to you?
Living vividly to me would mean finding a good work-life balance. I feel like you hear that term a lot, but what that means to me would be, is the work environment as healthy, positive, clear as it can be? Because that is our responsibility to set the tone at the business, and we're always working on improving that. And also, my time at home, am I able to be fully present at home? Because as a business owner, it's so easy to, I'll just check my email, and I need to call this person, and let me take notes and think about how I want to improve this thing, because that's how we are. We always want to improve. But am I able to successfully make time for myself where I'm not a business owner and I'm just Sarah, right? Am I taking care of myself? Am I going to yoga? Am I riding my bike?
When you figure that out, let me know.
I am not there.
Me neither.
I would like to live more vividly. I mean, that's a goal for sure, always. What about you?
I think living vividly is living in service, because I think we're here to be of service to each other. So as much as you can dig into that and serve others in your life, I think that's living vividly.
Thanks for listening to Living Vividly. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. For more resources and details from today's discussion, check out the show notes. Until next time, keep living vividly.